Welcome to the world of Billy, our brilliant young man. He seems still, but his mind is a battlefield of expectations and silent, crushing pressures. Billy is busy today, extremely busy, but not with work. He is busy being a slave to his own sense of kindness and perceived obligations. Every time Billy says the words, "I should," a heavy brick of a psychological prison is laid down, row by row, surrounding his very soul. Do you see yourself in Billy? That constant nagging voice telling you that you are falling behind, that you should be doing something more productive right now. The trap is set. The kindness of improvement has turned into a whip, and Billy is the one holding the handle against his own tired back. Welcome to the prison of should. It is a place built with good intentions, but maintained by the cold, hard steel of self-imposed psychological tyranny. Watch as the words transform. What began as a helpful suggestion has now become a cage, locking Billy away from the very action he desires. He is trapped by his own decency. The more he tells himself he should be better, the less he is actually able to move or breathe. Meet Frank, the ideal version of Billy. Frank is the man who does everything right, the one Billy constantly compares his messy reality against every day. Frank wakes up early, drinks his greens, and meditates. He is the legend of productivity that we are all told we absolutely must strive to become. Meanwhile, Billy is paralyzed. He scrolls through endless feeds, not because he enjoys it, but because the weight of being like Frank is simply too much. To Billy, Frank is a god of discipline. But this comparison is a poison. It makes Billy feel like a failure before he even starts his day. The more Billy tries to force himself to be Frank using pure willpower, the more he feels like a moth crashing into the dark of procrastination. Look at their energy levels. Frank's battery is overflowing with purpose, while Billy's is depleted, even though he hasn't done anything productive at all today. Why does willpower betray us? Why does the harder we try to push ourselves, the more our inner self seems to pull back in total resistance? Billy is exhausted from the mental war. He is fighting a battle against himself, and in this war, there are no winners, only deep, lingering fatigue. The myth of the perfect Frank is disappearing, leaving Billy alone to face the terrifying shadow of his own chronic and painful procrastination once again. It is time to look deeper. It is time to understand why the should approach is failing Billy and why it might be failing you too. Let's decode the trap. The mechanism of procrastination is not laziness. It is a sophisticated defense system designed to protect us from perceived internal coercion. He is being pulled in two directions. One side shouts, "Try harder," while the other whispers, "Just play a game and forget the stress for now." This is the conflict of the soul. The should creates a feeling of being enslaved, and the human spirit naturally seeks a way to break free. Inside Billy's brain, a tiny tyrant of logic is lashing out at his emotional self. He thinks he can whip himself into being more productive today. But the emotional brain doesn't understand logic. It only understands fear and safety. When it feels attacked by should, it shuts down and hides away. The secret is this. Should is just coercion disguised as progress. When you say, "I should work," your mind hears, "I am being forced into slavery." And what is the instinct of a slave? It is to rebel. Procrastination is actually Billy's way of going on strike against his own internal, cruel master. Billy isn't being lazy. He is staging a revolution. His refusal to work is a desperate cry for freedom from the prison of constant, heavy obligation. But what happens when the should is gone? If we stop the coercion, what remains? To find out, we must look at the reality of willpower. Willpower is a finite resource. Poor Billy. He treats it like an infinite well, but it is more like a small, leaking bucket in the sun. He uses his will to force himself to do things he hates, which is like using a fire extinguisher to water your delicate garden flowers. Eventually, the extinguisher runs dry. You cannot sustain action through force alone. The more you push, the more the desert of your mind dries up. The narrator watches Billy with a mixture of pity and amusement. He knows something Billy doesn't. He knows the secret of the stone's true nature. He has given everything he has, and yet he has moved nowhere. This is the ultimate peak of the procrastination cycle. Total and complete burnout. Watch closely now. The narrator doesn't use strength, he doesn't use grit. He simply touches the fear that Billy has built into a giant mountain. The boulder isn't made of stone, it's made of air and anxiety. The weight of discipline was an illusion created by the fear of being controlled. It floats away, light as a feather. The secret to movement is not trying harder, but seeing through the illusion of the terrifying, heavy must-do. He realizes that his struggle was a ghost. He was fighting a shadow. The rock was only heavy because he believed it had to be heavy. The fear is gone. The pressure is released. Now, Billy is left with the most important question of his entire life. What does he actually want? Welcome to the Garden of True Satisfaction. This is the place where action happens without the whip, where the soul finds its natural rhythm again. Billy closes his eyes and just breathes. He is learning to stop asking, "What should I do?" and start asking, "What brings me genuine satisfaction?" Satisfaction doesn't come from the final result. It comes from understanding the nature of the act itself and finding the beauty within the process. When he stops forcing himself to learn, he finds that he actually wants to know. The curiosity was always there, buried under the heavy should. He replaces "I should study" with "I want to explore." This small change in language shifts the entire power dynamic of his internal world instantly. He has found his flow. The work is no longer a chore, it is an expression of his own being. The garden around him begins to glow. In the flow state, the self disappears. There is no master and no slave, only the action and the joy of creating something meaningful and real. When Billy stopped coercing himself, he found the energy he thought he had lost forever. It was always there, just waiting for the whip to stop. Work and play are no longer enemies. In this garden of satisfaction, they have merged into a single, beautiful dance of productivity and pure, unadulterated joy. Billy is no longer the victim. He stands tall in the light of his own realization. The dark room has been transformed by his inner shift. He doesn't hate the word anymore. He just sees it for what it is, a tool that he no longer needs to use against himself today. With one simple act, he breaks the final chain. He is choosing to be free from the guilt and the pressure that held him back. He is releasing the burden. The shoulds are gone, transformed into something light and beautiful that no longer has the power to hold him down. Choose is the word of a free man. Choose is the foundation of all real action. Billy is now the architect of his own time. He runs because he loves the feeling of his heart beating and the wind in his hair. He isn't running to meet a quota or an expectation. He works because he has something to say, something to contribute. Procrastination has no place here because there is no tyrant to rebel against anymore. The narrator's job is done. Billy has internalized the truth. He no longer needs an outside voice to tell him what he already knows deep inside. He is looking at you now. He is inviting you to join him, to step out of your own prison and into the light of choice. This is what life looks like when you stop being a slave to should. It is a vibrant, balanced, and deeply fulfilling journey of self-discovery. Don't let the dogmas of should kill your spirit. Look through the trap, be kind to your soul, and find the satisfaction in every moment. Goodbye, poor Billy. Welcome back to your life, Billy the Chooser. The world is waiting for what you will create when you are truly free. Remember, action is a gift you give yourself, not a punishment you endure. Stop the shoulds and start living with intention and genuine desire. The light of the sun has replaced the dim bulb of anxiety. You are free. Now, go out and choose your own path today. The stillness of the lake represents the newfound clarity in Billy's mind. The noise of should has been replaced by a deep, resonant silence. Every choice he makes now is like a stone skipped across the water, creating ripples of positive change that affect every part of his life. Even in the quiet moments, there is no more guilt. He can rest without feeling like he's wasting time because he chose this rest purposefully. The universe is vast, and Billy realizes his only duty is to be authentically himself. The shoulds of the world seem so small from here. Creativity flows when the pressure stops. He isn't painting for a gallery. He's painting because the colors want to be on the canvas right now. He has reclaimed his playfulness. The serious Frank he once envied would never allow such a mess. But Billy knows the mess is part of life. His art reflects his journey. It's a testament to the power of self-compassion over self-coercion. It's the story of every person who finally chooses freedom. Knowledge is no longer a burden to be carried. It's a treasure to be discovered. He picks up a book because he's truly curious today. The words on the page are like old friends. He is learning at his own pace, in his own way, and the information finally sticks. He no longer feels like an outsider in his own life. He is a participant, a decider, a man who knows his own worth and value. Even his kindness has changed. It's no longer a duty. It's a natural overflow of the peace he has found within his own liberated spirit. He sees the world with new eyes. Everything is a choice. Every building, every street, every interaction is a result of someone choosing to act. The simplest tasks are now filled with meaning. Cooking is no longer a chore. It's a way to nourish himself and celebrate being alive today. This is the ultimate victory over procrastination. To be here, now, doing what you chose to do with all of your heart and your soul. The journey continues, but the prison is gone. Billy is free. And you, dear viewer, are just one choice away from your own freedom too.